Hey, Eric, welcome to Kansas State.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
I've read a little bit of your backstory, but can you tell me in your own words just what was your journey like going from, kind of unheralded recruit to walk on to scholarship guy now all the way to Kansas State?
Yeah, so coming out of high school, I had a scholarship opportunity at Upper Iowa University where I ended up going, Winona University, and then I had a preferred walk-on deal at Northern Illinois. Coming out of high school, just following the money, trying to help my parents out financially, I just ended up going to Upper Iowa University. It was about week 7. I was originally redshirting because at the time we didn't have the deal where you could play in 4 games and still keep your red shirt. So we had a couple guys go down, a couple guys get hurt. So I ended up having my red shirt pulled about week 7. Got in, had a couple starts, had a couple good games. And then towards the end of the season, I decided that I kind of wanted, I guess, a more competitive culture, I guess a little more of a challenge and just kind of a better overall college experience. So talked to some people and just started reaching out to junior colleges across Southern California, some of my buddies, and just kind of research I've done. Kind of figured football over there would be a good spot for me. I ended up at San Diego Mesa College. I played there for a year. And then after leaving there, I ended up walking on at Utah State, redshirted when I first got there, played these last 2 years, and grad transfer. Now I'm here at Kansas State.
There are a lot, I don't know if you're aware of this, but a lot of former Kansas State players kind of have similar backstories to you. Do you think that your personality and your work ethic will fit in really well here?
Yeah, one thing I really liked about Kansas State was it seems like it's just a lot of hardworking guys that really just work hard, stick to the grind, blue collar guys who work hard and want to win games, win championships. So I like that about Kansas State, versus having a lot, I guess, big time recruits who I guess kind of come in and don't really like to stick to the grind. They like to run away from the weight room or, our conditioning workouts and stuff like that.
Okay. Is there anything specific about this defense that really appeals to you?
Yeah. So when I was at Utah State, we went from an odd front to the even front and then back to the odd front. And then 2019, I liked playing in the even front, the true 4 down front. So defense I'm familiar with. Obviously, it's a little bit different, especially terminology and whatnot. So I'm excited. Got some big boys up front I get to play behind, so that'll be nice.
All right. Hey, thanks, Eric, and I look forward to watching you play.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Ryan Wallace.
Hey, Eric, Ryan Wallace here. I got a chance to talk to Coach Hill and Coach Ruiz, some of your former coaches this week, and both of them credited you as kind of being one of the most driven players they've ever been around. And I'm just curious, where does that work ethic, that desire to be great, that inner confidence really stem from?
I would say a lot of it just growing up when I was younger. I don't know, started probably my first year of playing football. My dad's probably one of the most competitive people you'll ever meet. Beat me in everything growing up. And I guess it started kind of with my dad, me wanting to beat him in a race, beat him playing hoops or whatever it is we were doing. He kind of built that competitive nature into me. I hate losing. I love winning, whatever it is, whatever we got going on, I always want to be first. And I don't know, it kind of stemmed from my dad, just the way he raised me growing up. It's the fact that, nothing's going to be given to you. You got to earn everything you get. So kind of starting there. And then I guess I've just always felt like since I was a kid, I've been, I've missed out on opportunities that I feel like I should have been a part of, or I guess just kind of underlooked across the board. So I always like to, go to a new school, work hard and prove that I deserve to be there. And, I'll be able to help the team out with whatever the goal is and winning a conference championship that season.
Are you the type of person that has ever let doubt kind of creep into your mind? I mean, were there ever low moments where you thought, maybe I made a mistake with this path going to this school or whatever? Or are you always just confident in your ability to succeed and make things work?
Overall, for the most part, I would say, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I try to keep my faith with God as high as possible. That at the end of the day, I'm where I'm at for a reason, and there's a plan set in store for me. I just got to find it. But I'll be the first one to say I've called Coach Hill, I've called Coach Ruiz, I've talked to my parents a little bit, former coaches, former friends, and there was a lot of times where I was like, what am I doing in San Diego? Paying for school, paying, really a financial burden on my family, maybe at a time when I wasn't getting many looks, or I had a bad game. And it's just, you kind of ask yourself, what are you doing out here? Why, it's big investment. You know, there's a lot to lose and really a lot to gain at the same time. And then it's a similar deal, at Utah State. I was excited, to walk on and to prove myself. But at the same time, you're looking at it like, I gave up basically a full ride to Upper Iowa. Now, obviously, I had some smaller schools that wanted to offer me scholarships, but it's like I could have had my school fully paid for, but here I am instead walking on paying full tuition, at Utah State. And sometimes it does get cloudy. You just question what you're doing or why you're doing it. And I guess you just got to get back to, what my goals are and where I want to be when I'm done playing college ball. And at the end of the day, it's the hard work's going to get me there, and it's gotten me to Kansas State. So I'm happy to be where I'm at, even though I've had kind of a rocky road and some road bumps.
Appreciate the time, Eric. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
John?
Yeah, Eric, how did K-State just get on your radar when you were looking for a new destination?
So when I entered the transfer portal, I reached out really to a lot of my junior college coaches who are at different places in the country. Some of them are still in San Diego Mesa College. And I was just asking for some help, reaching out to as many schools as possible, getting my name, getting my film out there. And I had a talk with Coach Hill, Keegan Hill. He was, my coach and basically like a mentor, like a father figure for me coming out of high school from my sophomore to my senior year. And he had just reached out to Coach BA here, sent him my film, sent him my information, got that over to the defensive staff, and they liked how I played. Coach Klanderman was the first one to give me a call, and from there, Coach talked to Coach Stannard, and it just went well from there.
And I can imagine COVID probably played a factor into this, like everything did this past year, but just only getting to play in a couple of games this past year, what was that like for you? And just take me through, kind of what went on your last year at Utah State.
Yeah, it was tough. We really only missed one game because of COVID. And then we missed the last, as a team, as a program, we decided to opt out of that last game for, different issues that were going on within our administration, which is a whole nother deal. But across the board, we face the same challenges really that every team in the country was facing, where you had guys out for injuries, which normally happens COVID season or not. You got guys out with COVID, you got close contact guys, got coaches in, coaches out. Same deal with COVID and contact tracing. So it was tough. Can't really make too many excuses though, because really we're fighting the same battle everybody was fighting that season. So,
and for people who haven't seen you play, just how would you describe your strengths as a linebacker and what kind of a player you are?
I think the two biggest things I do well is I think I have good lateral speed. I think I get sideline to sideline well, and I also think I come downhill aggressively. So I would say those are two things I do well.
Appreciate it, Eric. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
We'll go two more, starting with Derek.
Hey, Eric, what was the school search process like, since you weren't able to make those visits that you normally would as a transfer target, or was Kansas State really the only school on your radar?
So initially, most of my recruiting was kind of stemming through Twitter and then kind of close contacts that my coaches had. So, some of my coaches in the junior college realm had reached out to friends, other close coaches I'd coached with before, through the phone, really phone calls, Twitter DMs, Twitter follows and stuff like that. And then when I finally, really started talking to Kansas State, it was over the phone. And then our I guess, biggest call was, through Zoom. Everything's done through Zoom basically now if you want to try to get some face-to-face contact. So that's really all we used.
And how would you describe your first days on campus and just maybe the challenges of getting to know everyone because of, the way the world's working right now, and just maybe some guys you've really hit it off with so far?
Yeah, it was good. The one thing was, getting here, I had to quarantine, obviously. So just hanging out by myself. I'm living with Boom right now. So, really, I was at the house basically a week by myself before he even had to get on campus. Newer guys, we had orientation, all that stuff we got to do. But, yeah, it's tough. You don't really see all the guys. And I mean, still, we really don't have anything mandatory right now. We had a team meeting yesterday, but other than that, you don't really get the chance to see everybody. And then, I mean, you got a hoodie on and a mask. You can barely even tell who anybody is now. So it's been better. I got to work out with Deuce, with Daniel Green, the other linebacker today. So it was nice to interact with him, get to know him a little bit better. Talk to Cody Fletcher a little bit too. Skylar reached out to me as soon as I committed, which was nice. And just talking to guys here and there. It's been good so far.
Thank you.
Last one here, Ryan Black.
Hey, Eric, it's Ryan Black with Manhattan Mercury. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Hey, doing pretty well. And you actually kind of touched on it in a previous answer, and I'm just extremely curious about it because of what a situation it was. You brought up there at Utah State, you guys not playing the last game because the controversial comments that the school president made, and that you guys as a team unanimously voted not to play. What did you learn the most from that experience? Just not just only obviously as a football player, but just as a person, and how you think kind of taking that kind of stand kind of will help you going forward in life.
I think the coolest part about it was kind of how we all came together. We had a lot of stuff going on at Utah State, especially, and I mean across the country with racial inequality. And I think the way our team came together, Black, white, Mexican, we have a large Polynesian community in Utah and a part of our program. Whatever nationality, whatever race you were, I think everybody saw that things that were going on at Utah State weren't right. It was stuff that we didn't stand for, stuff we didn't want to represent as a university. I just thought it was really cool that you got a bunch of guys between the ages of, 18 and 24 to come together to say, you know what, this isn't right. Using our platform as student athletes, at the level we play football, it was just really cool to come together and voice how we felt about the situation and how we can bring attention to issues like this that are going on every day.
And then just as a follow-up to that, did you already know that you guys had that kind of power as student athletes, or did that really show you like, hey guys, look at what we're capable of when we band together like this?
Yeah, so Nick Henninger and Justice Tay were kind of the two guys that brought the idea up. And, when they first brought it up, I was kind of surprised, kind of a little shook. Because I would have never thought of that, off the top of my head, like, hey, sitting out of this game is really going to have a really powerful impact on really getting at the issues that we're dealing with, at Utah State, like I said, and just across the country. So I was surprised, honestly, and really impressed on, the idea and the leadership they took on that, and then just how everybody kind of rallied behind them. So, kind of like what you're saying, I was kind of surprised and impressed. But it's also pretty cool to see how we can use our platform to, get at issues like this that are going on across the country.